Without these things, without these fundamentals, we end up getting lost in the content of our story. We end up getting lost in the allopathic mindset, trying to put labels on things, trying to make things something that they aren't, which is simply information and flow. But if we're going to trying to put a label on it, if we're going to trying to understand it and figure it out and put it in the domain of the intellect, essentially what we end up doing is shutting the information down and staying in the status quo of our lives. And if that were working, we wouldn't be here today. So I appreciate your willingness to be in this conversation. I appreciate your willingness to delve in and to get curious about what else is possible for you. So one of the biggest lies that we have been force-fed throughout our whole life is that we are powerless in creating our own lives. The more I have stayed with this paradigm, with the well systems paradigm, the more I have stayed with the process of this, the more I have stayed shifting my perceptual filters to and through this paradigm, the more I have discovered just how immensely powerful I am. And by I am, I don't just mean me as Stella. By I am, I mean each of us that is willing to stay the course continuously, because we are reflections of one another. So there are a lot of cultural lies that each of us must be willing to unpack and to process and to digest and to metabolize through our bodies, because that's where we live. We live in our bodies. So in our willingness to digest the lies, in our willingness to alchemize the lies, on the other side of that, what lives is truth. So because of the laws of the universe, because of polarity and duality and the pendulum swinging, the more willing that I am to discover the internalized bullshit, the more truth reveals itself to me. And this is a process. This is an ongoing process. This is why decloaking is one of the absolute fundamentals of this paradigm, because it is through decloaking that we begin to notice that there even exists an alternative perceptual filter, an alternative way of moving through our world. Because until then, what we're stuck with is, I don't know, therapy and labels and yoga and plant medicine and pick a fucking thing that gives glimpses but has no transformational power. The only place where the transformational power lives is inside our bodies. So if I'm seeking to create transformation from the outside, good luck. I don't know. I haven't found it. I looked for a long time. So good luck. So I am of the mindset, and I believe and I live from and I trust that the only way to reclaim my personal power is from the inside out. So creating from the inside out. But how do I do that in a world that has convinced me to be distrustful of my instincts, to second guess myself, to continuously think that I'm small and puny and nobody cares and I'm alone and like, oh my God, like who's going to read this anyway and who it's going to matter and whatever. There's a lot of internalized lies that we have been fed in order to keep us small. So that's why this starts with trust your body. Because if you cannot connect to the visceral cues in and through the body, what you end up necessarily relying on is external cues. So you're relying on somebody else to tell you how things are for you and how things should be for you and what is normal and what isn't. And if you're not within the domain of normal, then you got to get into the domain of normal based on what these experts over here have to say. The whole time, what you're doing necessarily is shutting down the body in order to be able to keep up with what's being said to you. In this paradigm, and it is a paradigm shift, it is a mindset shift, it is a visceral shift. What we must be willing to do is to begin to trust the cues of our body, to begin to decipher between a cue that says, I'm excited by this and I want to engage it, and a cue that immediately follows that says, oh man, but remember last time when you did that, what happened? Oh my God, are you sure you want to do that? There's not enough money, that you don't have enough time, and all those people, they're going to think you're in a cult, and like, I don't know, maybe you should stop. So all those things that come up immediately after that clarity. Yes, I want this, or no, I don't want this. Yes, I want to go here, or no, I don't want to go here. And then the shoulds come in. So the more you're willing to begin to trust your body, the more you're willing to hear what your body is actually saying to you, the more you can actually begin to live a more meaningful life, because you can actually hear what's being said to you, and you've got to make that choice. Oh, I heard you. And now you can pursue that as a meaningful alternative to the shoulds.